Welcome, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast with your host, Sana, where we explore the transformative power of mindfulness in every aspect of life. Today, we are diving into the extraordinary world of habits, self improvement, and the magic of daily reading with none other than Dennis J Henson. With over 5 decades of experience, listeners, as a business leader, educator, and a real estate expert, Dennis has inspired thousands through his best selling books and transformative training programs. Also, his latest masterpiece, which is Real Impact Daily Inspiration, it's a treasure trove of wisdom designed to help you build a daily reading habit that fuels confidence, dispels imposter syndrome, and sets you on a path of unstoppable momentum. So get ready for an episode packed with inspiring stories, actionable insights, and a little sprinkle of genie magic as we unlock the secrets to creating rapid forward motion in life. Dennis, welcome to the show, and it is an absolute honor to have you with us today.
Well, thank you. So I really appreciate you having me.
Dennis, how does cultivating a daily reading habit parallel the practice of mindfulness, and why is consistency so impactful in both?
Well, I believe that people are creatures of habit. And if they form habits that lead them toward success and happiness, they'll be successful and happy. But if they just leave it to chance and just form whatever habit they happen to come up with, their chances are much less that they will get where they want to go. For example, if someone wanted to become um, a physician, they wanted to become a doctor. Well, if they would form the habit of every day doing something that would take them toward medicine, take them toward becoming a successful surgeon or doctor, whatever it is, their chances of reaching that goal would exponentially become much, much higher.
Mm-hmm. Great, great, Dennis. Also, when it comes to daily reading, how do we mindfully select content that truly inspires and also uplifts us at the same time?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. In my newest book, Real Impact Daily Inspiration, it is a 45-year collection of motivational poems, quotes, long stories, short stories, and books. And each of those are something that during that 45-year period inspired or motivated me and helped me out of a bad situation or into a better situation. I think that's a really great place to start. Although you don't have to use the book, but it's a wonderful tool to help you form a powerful habit. So the book was written in order to help people form the habit. Because of the way it's designed, and if to do a habit, you've got to do it consistently. If you ever stop the consistency, then you're forming the habit of not doing it. So I made it really easy because so many people are busy. They have terribly busy days. They have families. They have spiritual things. They have all kinds of things that are pulling them in different directions. And they think, well, how will I find time to read? Well, the book is set up so that if you have 30 minutes, you can read a short story. Or if you have 5 minutes, you can read a poem. Or if you get home and you're exhausted and you're just, I don't feel like reading, turn to the back of the book and read a quote. It'll only take 3 or 4 seconds. And it allows you to do that every single day so that you don't stop your habit. And if you'll do that for a month or a year, once it becomes a habit, then you don't even have to think about it. You'll just do it. It'll just be something that's part of your day, and that will change your life.
Hmm. Inspiring. That is inspiring, Dennis. Also, what advice do you have for those who feel overwhelmed or stuck in forming new habits like daily reading? Of course, consistency is always an issue.
Well, that's not unusual. You know, people have a tendency to do a lot of different things and they don't focus on a particular thing, so they get stuck because they can't make a decision. I don't know, should I do this or should I do this, or what about if I do this? Well, using the book Daily Inspiration, the first thing you do is you set a goal that you're reaching for. And it could be more than one goal. It could be a spiritual goal, it could be a business goal, a financial goal, it could be any kind. But you
Mhm.
need to develop a burning desire to reach that particular or those particular goals. And so if you get stuck and you feel like I'm not progressing, that's when using your habit comes in, because forming the habit of moving you forward, you can go to Google and find things to read about that particular thing that will move you forward. You can go to the library and get a book. You can use Real Impact Daily Inspiration, look at the books and that are listed in the back and pick one that you think. Reading and using the reading habit is the best way I can think of to get unstuck.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, while daily reading can offer immense benefits, Dennis, could there be times when focusing too much on external inspiration takes us away from cultivating internal awareness?
I really don't think that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it's used properly, it will not lead you in the wrong direction. Uh, for example, Zig Ziglar was a very successful person. Uh, he started out selling pots and pans and did a transition to become a motivational speaker and an author. And he's pretty well famous all over the world. One of the things Zig Ziglar said is, remember, little by little, little becomes a lot. If you just read 20 minutes a day on a 200-page book, by the end of a year, you would have read 20 books, which is 19 more than the average person. That will set you apart.
Yes.
And not only that, reading motivational information is fine. Uh, the the stories and the poems in this book will move you to tears. There's some that are mysteries. There's some about people that you know their name. For example, Disney is one of the names. Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
So I really believe that using this formula, using forming the habit of reading every day, I don't think it has any derogatory elements. I think they're all positive.
Hmm. That's a great answer, Dennis. And can you share how the act of reading mindfully differs from simply consuming information?
Yes. Back in the 3rd century,
Mhm.
a group of monks wanted to become more familiar with the scriptures. So they developed a thing called Lectio Divina, where they would read a scripture, then they would imagine themselves as part of the scripture, then they would read it out loud, and then they would contemplate it. A couple of centuries later, now that was all sacred. A couple of centuries later, some other people decided, well, that's a pretty good plan. Why don't we do that as a secular practice so that it's not necessarily the scriptures, but it's something else, which is exactly what this book is intended to do. You can read a little bit and get something out of it because it's really the quality of the reading that you do that makes the difference, not the quantity. It doesn't matter if you read a book in a day or a week. That doesn't matter. What matters is, what are you getting out of what you read? So if you take one of the poems or one of the quotes and say, today I'm going to contemplate what this means and how it can have an effect on my life. And then you use that system, which it's in the book, where you read it and then you imagine yourself as part of it. Then you read it again out loud, and then you spend the next few minutes contemplating. Now, a good time to do this is right before you go to sleep. So you do this little system, you lay down to go to sleep, and then you're contemplating something that's really powerful that will help you in your life. And all night long, your brain will be working to move you in that direction. It's amazing how that works and the change it will make in people.
Mm. Wow. Great, great. That was a great explanation again, Dennis. So, how has your personal reading practice propelled you forward during moments of doubt or maybe stagnation?
Well, years ago, I was a band director. I taught school, and music was my life. I had degrees in music, and I really loved music and wanted to become a college band director. So I was um, approached by Georgia Tech. They wanted to hire me to become their band director, and I was really excited. And this large company out of Tennessee contacted me and said, we want to hire you to work with us. And I said, well, no, I can't do that. I've already got the dream job. I'm going to be the band director at the University of Georgia Tech. And they said, well, let us fly you up here and we'll give you, we'll buy you a steak and tell you how this works. Well, to make a long story short, I let them buy me the plane ticket because that was something unusual back in the 70s. And I went up there and they offered me 20 times what Georgia Tech was going to pay. And I took it. I took the position. But the first thing they did was they gave me 3 books. They said, read these books while we're preparing to bring you in and train you. The books were Think and Grow Rich, Success, the Glenn Blend Method, and The Greatest Salesman in the World. Once I read those books, I became extremely motivated. I mean, I was just on fire. And the change in how I felt and what I wanted to do and what I was able to accomplish was so great that I wanted more books. And so I started a search. And every time I read a book, if it was really great, I kept a list of this is one of the really good ones. And so I read thousands of books, but I'm sorry, I came up with over 100 that really, really moved me forward. So I still can go back to those books when I'm having a tough time or I feel like something's not going the way that it should. I can go back and look at one of those books and read for a few minutes, and all of a sudden, again, I have that motivation and I can move forward and I can take care of whatever those stumbling blocks were that got into my way.
Hmm. Lovely, lovely, Dennis. Now, talking about your book, Real Impact, Daily Inspiration. There's a fun fact. There's a very interesting fact I would like to mention to our listeners. It features a genie's lamp on the cover, which feels both symbolic and intriguing to me. Can you share the significance of the lamp and how it ties into the message of your book about the transformative power of daily reading?
Well, there is a picture of Aladdin's lamp on the front of the book, and I'm glad you asked about it. Um, First of all, I want to give all your listeners a free ebook, and there's no strings attached. I just would like, if they would like to have one, they can go to realimpactbook.com. And once they get to that website, scroll to the bottom. At the very bottom, it says podcast attendee. If you'll click on that, it'll say what's your name and email address. You put it in there, and it'll automatically send you the ebook. Now, I'm doing that because I want to get the word out about the book. I want everybody to be able to use it, change their life, and I want them to change other people's lives. I want them to see that this would be a really great gift to give to a young person, someone graduating from high school or college. And I want them to know that if they give this gift, it's something that will be kept and cherished for many years, and it will improve the quality of the people's lives that you gave the book to. Now, in the front of the book, there is a lamp, and the lamp stands for Aladdin's lamp. Probably your listeners know the story of Aladdin. I'm sure you know the story of Aladdin, where a young man purchased an old lamp, and he found when he was cleaning the lamp that when he rubbed it, it was magic. And it gave him the ability to have anything that he wanted. He could have any wish that he wanted. Subsequently, when he lost the lamp, he lost that ability. But when he got it back, he was able to, the magic returned. So you probably think, well, what's that got to do with this book? And you probably think, well, that's just a story. It has nothing to do with reality. But the truth is, this book, Real Impact Daily Inspiration, is similar to that magic lamp. If you have the book, if you get the book and hold it in your hand, and you follow the formula in the beginning of the book, it says, here's how to use this book. It's like rubbing Aladdin's lamp. It will lead you to anything that you want. You'll be able, well, it's kind of like the mystery. It's kind of like inertia or gravity or the laws of nature that's hard to understand. So you don't have to understand gravity for it to work. You don't have to understand why this works so well for it to work. You just get the book, follow the formula. And the reason I know this is because I've been teaching real estate investing for 15 years.
Wow.
One of the things that I had my students do was change their habits. And one of the habits that I had them form was the habit of reading something positive every day that would lead them toward their goal of becoming a real estate investor. And my students became super investors. They outdid me. They're some of the most successful business people in the entire state of Texas and some other states. So I challenge you to take this free book and read it and put it into effect, put the formula into effect, and look at the changes that happen in your life. There'll be a big impact.
Wow. Wow. That is so encouraging and inspiring, Dennis. And thank you. Thank you for your generosity, for the free gift for all of our listeners. And I encourage all of you listeners to go to realimpactbook.com, scroll down to check the option podcast attendee, and you can just get the gift given by Dennis. Lovely, lovely. Also, Dennis, before we wrap up, beyond reading, what do you think reflection has a role to play in anchoring insights and applying them in our daily lives?
Well, okay. The book it has an underlying. I built the book around certain things that I knew worked. Those things were desire, faith, will, and action. If you want to change your daily life, you want to change how your life happens and what's going to happen to you, if you can develop a burning desire to reach a specific goal and then have faith that you're going to get there no matter what happens, and then you maintain the will to continue, never give up. You get down, you get back up, and you take action on a daily basis, you're going to see a tremendous change in your life, and you're going to be able to do things that you never, ever imagined possible. So the underlying effect of the book and the habits would be desire, faith, will, and action. Those are very powerful laws of nature that you can take advantage of, and they're free.
Yeah, makes sense. Lovely, lovely, Dennis. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your experiences, and the super actionable insights on how reading daily, even if it's for 20 minutes, 15 minutes, how reading daily can truly create rapid forward motion in our lives. And well, from the significance of the genie's lamp to the timeless secrets of success, you have left us with some really powerful tools to ignite our potential and achieve greatness. So, thank you so much, Dennis.
Well, thank you for having me. I sincerely appreciate it.
Great. And Dennis, if our listeners they wish to connect with you as well, apart from the free gift you have given to all of us today, how they can do that?
Well, they go to the same website. It's realimpactbook.com. And from there, there's a tab up in the corner that says contact us. So if you wanted to contact me personally, you can, if you have a question or whatever. So the starting point is realimpactbook.com.
Great. We'll have all the details mentioned in the show notes, along with the directions to avail the free gift. And remember, as Dennis said, reading is the superpower that unleashes all others. So, whether you are sipping on inspiration from his book, Real Impact Daily Inspiration, or diving into other life changing content, take a moment each day to feed your mind and soul. And thank you to everyone, all of our listeners, for joining us on this mindful journey. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, share, leave us a review. You can find Dennis's book and other resources linked in the show notes along with this episode. Until next time, this is your host, Sana, reminding you to live with intention and anchor habits that elevate your life. Stay mindful and keep thriving. Thank you.